Either Chris Kemper is just being a really nice guy, or maybe they're trying to make room in the retail warehouses for the Kemper 2. What's going on, guys? Thanks so much for joining me for today's video. And I was recently talking to a friend of mine, Aaron Short. Shout out to Aaron Short. And we were talking about the recent price drop in all of the Kempers. And they've gone down quite a bit. I mean, the stage is down by $200. And the toaster and the rack are down over $300. That's a pretty big drop in pricing. And, you know, I know during COVID, a lot of prices went up on a lot of gear. So a lot of people might be thinking, well, maybe they're just going back down to normal prices. Well, if that's the case, then why isn't everybody else doing that? I honestly have a feeling, now I could be wrong, but I honestly have a feeling that maybe they're trying to just move all of that inventory to make room for the new Kemper that may be coming out soon. I'm a business owner. I've been one for 23 years, and that's kind of how my mind thinks, and that's where it goes when I see stuff like that. And honestly, I think it's time that Kemper did come out with a new unit. I mean, there's a lot of things I love about my Kemper, but there's also a lot of things that I'm frustrated with, and I'm sure you are too if you're a Kemper owner. So while we're on the topic of a potential new version of the Kemper, I'd like to discuss what I'd like to see in the new Kemper. Number one, I'd really like to see a new interface. I mean, let's face it, the interface on the Kemper is, well, it's frustrating, to be honest with you. I don't like using the interface at all. I'd rather use the rig manager, and it's just much easier to do on the computer. But then again, I don't like always having to hook my Kemper up to the computer to do that. Now, if you have a stage, it does have a Wi-Fi chip in it, and you can use the mobile app with that, but if you have the toaster or the rack, you can't. So you're stuck using either the interface on those units or Rig Manager, which means you have to hook both the toaster and the rack up to your computer to utilize the Rig Manager app. And that's not always the easiest thing to do. I know, first world problems, right? I get it, but you guys understand where I'm coming from. I mean, with all the new tech these days, we're getting spoiled with how easy everything is becoming and how convenient it is to change things on our products, and it's just so much better when you have those conveniences. It takes all of that frustration out of the way. The kind of interface I'd like to see on the new Kemper is a touchscreen. I mean, that is just something that we're all familiar with. Everybody's got a touchscreen on their phone, their iPads, and a lot of laptops even have them now. And it's just something that we're all extremely familiar with. And I just think that having a touchscreen on the new Kemper would be really nice and convenient to use, especially if you're out on the road or if you're at a gig or a practice space and you just want to make some changes really quick. It would just be so much easier and quicker to do. And I think it's high time that we got something like that, because the interface that's on any one of the Kemper platforms is, honestly, it's terrible. I just can't stand using it. And on the topic of Wi-Fi, it's nice that the stage has it so that you can use a mobile app with it, but I'd like to see them take it a step further and allow us to do updates via Wi-Fi as well. That would be another really nice feature to have, and it would make everything a lot more convenient. I mean, I just want to be done with hooking my units up to a computer. It's just nice to be able to do everything through Wi-Fi now. I mean, can you imagine every time a new update comes out, you just push a button on your Kemper and download it via Wi-Fi? I mean, that'd be so much easier. Now, the other thing I'd like to see on the new Kemper is the ability to run 2 amps at the same time and even pan them left and right, and as far or as close as you want to each other, so that you can get that nice stereo imaging and that really nice, thick, awesome dual amp tone as well. Now, is that 100% necessary? I don't think it's necessary, but it still would be a really badass feature to have. And I think it's one of those features that once you utilize that, you'd be blown away at how much bigger your guitar sound is. And I think a lot of people would really dig that. And last but not least, I would really like to see them update the profiling algorithm. I don't want to have to do the refining of the profiles anymore. All of the units that are coming out now don't require any kind of refining of the profiles. I mean, you got to remember, this profiling tech came out over 10 years ago, and it's about time that got updated as well. Even if it takes a little longer, I don't care. I just think that not having to refine the profiles, or at least having the option of whether or not you wanted to do that, would be nice. Also, with that updated algorithm, I'd like to see the profiles become more accurate, and have a better top end and not have that cocked wah sound to them. You know, that little weird mid hump that you get in a lot of the profiles. I'd like to see that eliminated as well. I just feel like a lot of the units that come out now are just better at profiling. And, you know, it's okay because, like I said, the tech in the Kemper is over 10 years old, and the tech in these new units is, you know, a couple years old. So it better be a more accurate representation of the amplifiers. I just find that you get a better top end in the current units, like the Quad Cortex. I just feel like I get a better top end in those, and I don't have that weird cocked wah mid-hump sound in the Quad Cortex profiles, where it doesn't happen all the time in every profile on the Kemper, but it happens a lot, and I'd like to see that go away. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. The other thing I'd like to see with the new algorithm is more consistency. I mean, I've had consistency issues with the profiling process with the Kemper for quite a while now, especially with the high gain tones. You know, with cleans, it does a really good job, and maybe even some mid gain stuff, but when you get into the high gain territory, that's where the consistency really starts taking a nosedive. For instance, I can profile my EVH Stealth red channel and have it come out really good. And then I can turn around and profile the EL34 version of that amplifier with the same exact settings, and it sounds like crap. And I don't know what the deal is. And I've profiled them back and forth just to see, and for some reason I cannot get a good profile out of my EL34 EVH amp. I just can't. And I gave up on it. So it's just really frustrating when you could take two amps that are basically the same for the most part, except for the power section, and one of the amp profiles like a champ and the other one profiles like crap. I don't understand it. And I was down here for 3 hours trying to make it work, and I just couldn't make it work. So there's something in the algorithm that definitely needs to be tweaked and updated, and I think it's high time that Kemper did that. Because after all, they got to keep up with the competition that's coming out with more updated versions of that type of algorithm anyways. Well, I actually haven't played my Kemper in a bit on the channel, so I have mine right here. I have the Kemper Stage, and I'm going to play my Purple Nightmare profile for you guys right now. It's in my Ultimate Brutal Profile Pack, Volume 1, up on my website, and I'm just going to play some riffs on it, and just maybe I'll do a mix for you guys as well. Man, that sounds freaking awesome. That profile came out really freaking good. I'm proud of that profile. That's, to this day, that's one of my favorite profiles. I still enjoy playing that. And I haven't played this profile in, man, it's been several weeks. Let's check out one of my clean profiles now. This is of the Herbert Mark III clean channel. Yeah, that's freaking gorgeous. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Let's do, you know what I did too is I set up a piezo, because I have a piezo on this guitar. I set up a piezo patch. Let's see what that sounds like. That sounds freaking amazing. Man, I kind of miss playing this. It's been a while. So, you know, the thing is like, when the profiles come out good, they come out really good. But I just want the consistency to be there, and I honestly think that they can even come out better. I'd like to see a better top end and a better bottom end on the profiles as well. And like I said, that half-cocked wah mid-hump thing, that just needs to go. It gets annoying sometimes. It doesn't happen on every amp, but on a good number of them, it does happen. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it, and it's just annoying. So, and I've tried to dial it out. I've tried to reprofile the amplifiers that I had that issue with, and for some reason I just can't get rid of it on certain amplifiers. I don't know if it's the voicing on the amplifier that's not gelling with the algorithm on the Kemper profiling deal or what, but there's just something there, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Another thing that I forgot to mention that I'd like to see in the new Kemper is I'd like to see the ability to profile overdrive pedals. That would be awesome, because that's something that the Kemper's always kind of lacked in, is the variety of overdrive pedals. I mean, yes, the ones that are in there are pretty freaking good, and I'm pretty satisfied with the ones that I'm using, but I'd really like to be able to profile my own overdrive pedals the way I like to have them set up, and I just think it would be fun to be able to do that as well. And that would probably save Kemper a bunch of time on having to do those updates, because we're updating it ourselves with our own overdrive pedal profiles. Well, since it's been a minute since I've played my Kemper, let's hear how it sounds in a full mix. You know, playing that mix reminds me how much I love the effects in the Kemper. Now, some people have said over the years, like, oh, the effects in the Kemper aren't really all that great. Dude, you couldn't be more wrong if you think that. I mean, the effects in the Kemper are actually really good. I love the delays, I love the reverbs, you know, and those are my two favorite types of effects that Kemper has to offer. The delays and reverbs are amazing. The flangers and phasers are also really good. I think they could use a little bit of help in the chorus department and, like I said earlier, in the overdrive department. But again, if the new Kemper allows us to profile our own overdrive pedals, that problem will be more than solved. And another feature I really like about the Kemper is the morph feature. I use it all the time, and I think it's one of the best features that they've come up with. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I just thought I'd share my thoughts on it. Now, I could be wrong. I really could be wrong, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe, just maybe, this means that Kemper 2 is coming soon. What are your guys' thoughts on it? And while we're on the topic, what would you like to see in the new Kemper? I'm sure they'll be watching this video, and maybe they'll take notes, and you know, they're a great company, and they definitely want to give us everything that we want so that we'll buy the product. So, I mean, why not speak your piece here and let everybody know what you think should be included in the new Kemper and what kind of changes you would like to see. Well, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And to all my Patreon supporters and subscribers, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with a new episode. And if you like the profile that you heard here, there's a link below in the description of the video that takes you right to my Tone Wars website. And go on the Kemper section and go ahead and pick up the Ultimate Brutal Profile Pack for yourself. I know you'll like it. This Purple Nightmare profile is by far one of my favorite profiles I've ever done, and I really think it came out great. Well, I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.